When you introduce a speaker, you have three main tasks that we will cover in this video. I will even give you a sample script that includes all three components. Your first task is to tell the audience who the speaker is. And this may sound obvious, but I'm sure you've been to those events where the host actually did not say the name of the speaker. So when you're introducing somebody, always make sure to say their full name and their title if that's relevant for the context. Sometimes it is assumed that everybody in the audience knows who the speaker is, and this may be a fair assumption if it is the CEO of the company speaking. But if the speaker is another executive who is less well known, or a colleague from another office, or a guest speaker, you have to say explicitly who they are. You can safely assume that in all audiences there are going to be people who are not familiar with the company or the context. This could include external consultants, outside visitors, visitors from another office, or employees who have just joined the company. They're not going to be familiar even with the CEO, so do make sure to say the name explicitly. And also make sure to say the name correctly, which means checking the pronunciation beforehand. I'm sure you've seen this on stage many times as well. Our next speaker is Markus Seppälä. I hope I'm saying that right. Well, welcome to the stage, Markus. That is not a great way to introduce a speaker. Speaking of which, my name is Markus Seppälä. I'm a TEDx speaker, a stand-up comedian, and on this channel, I help you speak better, both online and on stage. If you want to get ready for your next big presentation, download my free Ready to Speak checklist with the link in the video description below. Your second task when you're introducing a speaker is to tell the audience why they should listen to this particular speaker at this particular time. One way to do this and add to the credibility of the speaker is to say something about their area of expertise or their past accomplishments. But do keep this part short. Much more important in your introduction is to make it clear what value the audience will get from listening to this speaker and to this presentation. A surface-level way to answer the question, why should the audience listen to them, is to say what the topic is. But a much more powerful way of answering that question is to talk about the results for the audience. What are the outcomes that the audience members can expect after listening to this presentation? Here's a very simple example. In the first 10 seconds of this video, I promised you that I'm going to cover the three most important tasks when introducing a speaker, and I also promised you a sample script. That is very much a results-focused introduction. I didn't say anything about me. The whole introduction was about you and your results. Here's a power tip before we move over to the third step, and that is to always say explicitly the title of the presentation. The speaker has probably put in a lot of effort into crafting a beautiful and compelling presentation title, but so often I see that the host forgets to mention it altogether. Your next task is to invite the speaker to the stage explicitly and actively. And a great way to do that is to say their name and ask for a big round of applause. At this point, you may also have to complete a couple of technical tasks, like handing over the microphone or the remote. Now let's put together these three steps into a sample introduction script. It could sound something like this. Let me say a few words about our next speaker, Jane Smith. Jane is an expert in body language, and she has been helping executives in more than 25 countries communicate with more impact. Today, she will share 5 tips that will help you come across more confident and natural when presenting online. The title of Jane's presentation is Looking into the Camera is Only the First Step. Please help me welcome to the stage, Jane Smith. If this has been valuable to you already, please hit the like button. Thank you very much. Now, let's look at that sample introduction in detail. Firstly, it tells you who the speaker is. Secondly, it tells you why you should listen to the speaker, and there is a particular focus on what you will get out of listening to Jane's presentation. And thirdly, there is an active invitation for Jane to come to the stage. Here's another technique that I use in that sample introduction, and it has to do with when I say the name of the person. Here is a common problem. A lot of the time, the host might say something like, "Next, I'd like to welcome to the stage Jane Smith." And if I say it like that, it is not clear if I actually want the people to start applauding or if I still have something left to say in my introduction. In my introduction, I say explicitly, let me say a few words about our next speaker, Jane Smith. That way I make it clear that my introduction is still ongoing, and then when I say the name at the very end of my introduction, then it is clear that it's time for people to start applauding and welcome Jane to the stage. In just a moment, I'm going to share a bonus tip that will make your introduction even more impactful. If you've been getting value from this presentation, go ahead and download my free Ready to Speak checklist. You can get it with the link in the video description or just go to markuspresents.com/speak. And here's the bonus tip. You as the host have an excellent opportunity to reinforce the most important call to action of the speaker. Let's say, for example, that Jane in her presentation has asked people to go and buy her book, and that book is available for sale after the presentation. You as the host can remind the audience where the book can actually be purchased. This is going to be super helpful for the audience, and it will also be immensely appreciated by the speaker when you take the chance to reinforce their call to action. Reinforcing their call to action is only one of the things that you can do to thank a speaker. For 5 more tips on how to properly thank a speaker, click or tap the screen right here for my full video. In that video, I combine some of the lessons from the stand-up comedy stage and from the TEDx stage. My name is Markus Seppälä. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.